Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Dr. P and welcome back today for another Fortnite video. Thanks so much for stopping back by the channel. Now in today's video, guys, I want to talk about the castle and the dragon egg even more. Yes, I know I keep talking about it, but we keep getting more and more info, and that's why I want to keep you guys updated. If this is your first time around here, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and join the family, and drop a like on the video down below. Let's shoot for somewhere around 1,000 likes. If you're ever buying any V-Bucks, make sure to use my support a creator code. It's Pineapplez YT. Shout out to these absolute beauties for using my support a creator code and sending me a screenshot. If you want a shout out in a future video, just send me proof of you supporting me as a creator. The best place to do that is on Twitter, and I'll be sure to link that in the description below. The past few weeks, Epic Games has been on holiday. They have not been at the studio, which is fair. I mean, they took a break for the holiday season. It was much deserved. But we now have information regarding the next content update we're getting for version 7.1. We're actually going to be getting that on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, which is in about a week. This will be the third content update for this specific patch number, which is pretty unreal considering how many times they've put an update out for the specific version 7.1 update. And I guess it's just because they were out of the studio and they couldn't go back in to actually make a huge patch, so they would just release some of these content updates, which is fair enough. I'm looking forward to see what they can cook up with this next update and what items are going to be new, maybe what new features are going to happen, if they nerf the boombox. There are a lot of things that could possibly be in play for this next update, and if we get any information at all, I'll keep you updated. Quick question for you in the comments. If you could personally choose what was going on in this update, what would be one thing that you would get behind and do? Would you nerf the plane? Would you nerf the boombox? Would you add a new weapon? I want to know. It seems like an overwhelming majority of players hate the boombox based on what I've seen, and it pretty much, in my opinion, counters being good at the game and kind of rewards not being able to build. So in that regard, I would definitely like to see it nerfed, maybe reduce the blast radius, maybe reduce how powerful it is. I don't know, but I feel like at some point that's going to get a nerf. Epic Games is doing something extremely interesting. They're doing something called Play It Back, and the description is, we're mixing up LTMs to feature some of the favorite modes from the 14 Days of Fortnite event. In case you weren't following along very closely, Fortnite was putting out new LTMs every day for this event, like literally brand new LTMs that we'd never seen, putting them out every day. There was some really good ones. I mean, just yesterday there was one that was really fun where you had low gravity and only snipers. There was also the classic game mode, which I thought was really fun, and personally I think that should be a permanent game mode. If you remember, that game mode actually had this as the loading screen for it, which shows a bunch of players in the Dusty Depot with chest spawns that weren't there, with skins that weren't in the game at the time. So there's a lot of optimism, at least in my mind, that maybe Epic Games heard everyone's, feedback, and they want to try to make the classic LTM, which basically had all the vaulted weapons in the game, but bring it back with the classic map. I think that would be amazing, and that's what everyone has been saying on Reddit. Of course, they're monitoring Reddit, they're monitoring social media, and they're constantly listening to community feedback, so it wouldn't shock me at all if when they come back and mix and match these LTMs, they've updated it to include the classic map. That would be just about the best update they could have possibly done, and if that happens, that needs to be a permanent game mode. That would just be a troll if they bring that back and it's just a limited time mode that stays for a couple of days. I'm curious, what was your favorite LTM over the course of the last 2 weeks for the event? For me, it was either the classic game mode or the low gravity game mode. I can't really decide, but I'm probably leaning towards the classic. Let me know your thoughts. So now let's get into the good stuff. I want to update you on the status of the melting ice in the castle. So in the main area, the staircase has actually been revealed, and if you go down to the side, there hasn't been a lot of change on the edges. Mainly the biggest update has been revealing the staircase in the front side of the castle, but there has been a little bit of changes. If you go down below where I am right now, you can actually see there are at least a little bit of chests that are visible that were not visible before. You can't actually loot them because they're facing towards the ice, and when you open the chest, the loot goes into the ice, which is a huge troll to say the least. It's a tease. If you continue on in the direction of the eggs, you can see they are still there, and there has been a little bit of movement by the huge block of ice. You can almost walk through that dungeon door without actually having to break it. We are still unsure of the exact creature that is growing inside of the eggs. We don't know. We're speculating it's probably a dragon. There's also a chance it could be a sea creature based on the flooding theory for the next season. But whatever it is, there is a bit of concrete information that we can for sure say about it, and this is actually pretty interesting. So if you get a thermal scoped AR and you zoom in on the eggs, you don't get any heat signatures. You don't see anything at all. And I was thinking at first, okay, that's strange. Why would you not be able to see a living creature show up on a heat index when looking at it with a thermal scope? But then I realized, okay, if it's a dragon, it's a reptile. Reptiles are cold-blooded. You're not going to be able to get any heat signatures from a cold-blooded reptile. And that actually makes a lot of sense. That has to be the reason why you're not able to see anything with the thermal scoped AR, and that's actually probably Epic's way of saying, no, we're not going to give you any hints, we're not going to give you anything to base this off of, but by doing that, they've actually gave us a hint in and of itself. As if it wasn't confirmed before, it's 100% confirmed at this point that whatever's in it is going to be a reptile, which of course dragons fall under that category, and I bet a sea serpent would. Even though they're both fictional creatures, they would both be scaly reptile kind of creatures. If you've explored the castle of Polar Peak at all, you probably will recognize these crates with the locks. They're all over the place. Literally, there are probably hundreds scattered across the castle. So I mean, the repetitiveness of this locked crate probably means something, at least in my mind. Now, it actually was pointed out to me that on the battle pass in one of the tiers, there is an unlockable emblem that is basically just a chain or cuff, very similar to the locks you might use to lock that chest, very similar to the locks you might use to capture your prisoners that you take and put in your dungeon, which of course is the area the dragon eggs are in. I thought that was very interesting, and I believe it was somewhere around Christmas Eve where I explored Polar Peak and I looked at everything in there, and that's when I first noticed how many times that crate appears, so I wonder if that is hinting towards anything at all. Speaking of things we talked about a while ago, you might remember these statues right outside of Polar Peak, kind of southwest of the iceberg. Now, of course, this was originally hinting towards the Frozen Legends pack, which came out, which featured frozen versions of the Raven, Love Ranger, and the Red Knight. I think it could go a lot deeper than that, though, a lot deeper than what lies on the surface. It looks to me like they are prepared to fight. They're ready for combat, especially the Red Knight, who has her shield drawn and her spear ready. Now, several weeks ago, I thought it's possible they could have been fighting each other, but the more I think about it, I think they could very easily be protecting everyone on the island, or at least symbolizing protection. We all know there is a threat, an immediate threat to the island with those eggs. Very uncertain of what's in there. We have a good idea, but nothing's confirmed until it hatches. And we don't know the intent of these dragons, right? We do know that the intent of everyone who came on the iceberg was malicious. They invaded the island with planes and snowmen soldiers, and they were attacking everyone. So it's fair to assume that the eggs are probably going to hatch malicious creatures as well. I'd say that's an extremely fair assumption. So, assuming that they are going to be threats to the island, they're going to go around and try to rip people's heads off or whatever, the island needs some guardians. The Frozen Legends are exactly that, legends. They were chosen and placed near the iceberg, possibly as protectors. One of the very first things that I did the second I came up with this theory is I went and I read the descriptions of all of the Frozen Legends skins. The only one that really stood out to me that I could make an argument for was the Frozen Love Ranger. His description is aim for the cold-hearted. Wow, seems like that could very easily be applicable to a dragon, who is a cold-blooded creature who has a quote-unquote cold heart. And as I pointed out before, it looks like almost certainly whatever creature is inside of the eggs is indeed a reptile. Definitely let me know what you guys think. I value your opinions more than you know. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and drop a like down below to help me out. I really appreciate that, guys. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. It would make my day. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video, and until then, peace out.